Okay, so one of the most important things that we need to talk about is X-rays. Why do we take X-rays in the chiropractic office? It's a really good question. I'm glad you asked. So the main thing about the X-ray is that you can't refute it. It's black and white. It's right there in film. It's the same language that all the medics speak. But when we look at an X-ray in chiropractic eyes, what we're looking for are two things. Number one, we find a subluxation. We find that nerve interference, that lack of proper spinal mechanics, that bone out of place. We find that on our exam when we check you. But what the X-ray tells us is exactly how bad is it. And what I mean by how bad it is that I can check by feeling your spine, I can check by you doing range of motion tests to see if things are moving properly, but that doesn't give me a very, very specific idea of what actual vertebrae is moving and which one's not. So when we take an X-ray, many times we'll couple that with a motion study. And what I mean by a motion study is we'll have an X-ray taken in a neutral and a neutral view this way, but then we'll have you, for example, bend your head forward and then take the X-ray, or bend it back, take the X-ray, or even in low back, bend to one side and bend to the other. And what that tells us is when we compare those views on top of each other, we can see which vertebrae are actually moving properly and which ones are locked up. And that lack of motion is the kinesiopathology, or one component of the subluxation. The other thing we look for is, when I said how bad, it's the degeneration component. If you've got a loss of curvature, that's a problem. So we already know how much of a problem that's going to be for your nerve system. If we see degeneration where the bones are actually deteriorated and they're starting to grow together, that's even worse. So it gives me an idea of the extent of your care. How much care do you need? How long is this going to take? So we use the X-ray as a tool to figure out at least two of the components of the 5 components of the subluxation. It's a very scientific tool, and we can also take a post X-ray to see how much improvement you've gotten after your care.